So one of the biggest challenges many expertise-based businesses face is figuring out how to price their products and services. Get it wrong and you risk leaving money on the table. Even worse, you could end up diminishing your brand or pricing yourself out of the market completely. Now, there's good news and bad news. The bad news? There's no definitive formula for finding the optimum price. But the good news, after working with subject experts, training providers and loads of consultancy businesses, we've identified some common pitfalls and blind spots you can actively avoid to price your offerings more effectively. So we've found that there are 4 classic mistakes we see when expertise-based businesses set their prices. So the first one, basing your prices on the cost of delivery. Number 2, undercutting the competition. Number 3, pricing based on what you would pay. And finally, assuming you have to price for your current market. So let's dig into each of these in turn. So mistake number 1, basing your prices on the cost of delivery. So one of the most frequent mistakes we see is taking a cost-based pricing approach. And this happens a lot in training and education businesses where you're delivering your service either online or in person. So many businesses undervalue their digital offerings simply because they cost less to deliver compared to in-person training. But here's what you need to remember. Lower delivery costs do not necessarily mean less value for your client. We would always recommend instead taking a value-based approach. So instead of focusing on the cost involved to deliver, focus on the transformation your solution provides. So ask yourself, how transformative is the outcome? Is it a modest improvement, a significant advancement, or is it a complete game changer? Now, the bigger the transformation you're providing for your clients, the higher the price should be, irrespective of the cost of delivery. So, mistake number 2, undercutting the competition. Now, setting your price below your competitors to attract more clients might seem like a smart move, but it can often backfire and quite dramatically. And here's why. Pricing is a signal of value. If your price is too low, potential clients might question your expertise or the quality of your service. So instead of racing to the bottom, think about how you can differentiate by adding more value. So for example, could you add different things to enhance the value? Could you add, live drop-in clinics, a bank of tailored resources? Perhaps you could offer customized templates, worksheets or tools, or even schedule some follow-up review sessions. Now these small inclusions can justify a higher price by creating a clear value gap between you and your competitors without necessarily adding a lot of cost to what you do. Mistake number 3, pricing based on what you would pay. So as a subject expert, it's easy to forget how valuable your knowledge is to beginners. And we often call this the blind spot of expertise. So what might feel like common sense to you might be groundbreaking for your clients. And that's only because you've been doing this for years. So remember, you are not your client. Avoid undervaluing your offerings. Instead, recognize the transformative potential of your work. And then finally, mistake number 4, assuming you have to price for your current market. So if you're setting prices based on your current market, you could be missing opportunities. So your pricing tells clients whether your product or service is aimed at them. So think of one of your current clients. How much do you expect that they would pay on a new website? £2,000, £20,000, £200,000? Do you think a £200,000 client is going to think or even consider a £2,000 website? If you're thinking of targeting a new market, make sure your pricing reflects that. You never know, a higher price might open up a new segment for your business. So now you know what mistakes to avoid, let's look at some practical pricing strategies you can use. So the first one, anchoring and comparative pricing. So clients rarely assess pricing in isolation. They compare between offerings, even if they already have a specific supplier in mind. So we recommend always offering or pricing a premium higher priced option. And this can influence how your clients perceive your core offering. Now this is called anchor pricing, is common in tiered service offerings. So let's imagine you're a business coach offering, say, 3 levels of service. The The top one, the premium tier, might be £2,000 and it might include one-to-one coaching sessions, workbooks, access to a private community. Then you may have a core tier, £1,000 let's say, with group coaching, structured templates and resources. Then below that, you would have a basic tier, which might be more self-paced content with minimal support. So in this case, the premium tier sets an anchor for value. Even though the core tier is still a significant investment, it feels more accessible compared to the premium price. Meanwhile, the basic tier captures those who may not be ready for your higher levels of service just yet, but ensures that you don't leave money on the table. So strategy number 2, using scarcity and exclusivity. So scarcity and exclusivity can be really powerful levers, particularly if you deliver your services in group-based formats or in limited access. So for example, if you're running a program or a masterclass that only has a set number of participants, or you're only delivering it over a specific time frame, you can use that to create urgency. And it helps also position it as a premium offering. So by highlighting the exclusivity of your service, you can tap into this psychological principle of scarcity, where people think limited opportunities are more valuable. And the classic example of that is Glastonbury tickets or event tickets. This can help you justify a higher price and stand out in a crowded market. Number 3, risk reversal. Clients are often hesitant to invest in services if they perceive high or significant risks. And you can counter that by incorporating risk reversal strategies into your pricing. So you could offer satisfaction guarantees, for example, giving money back if certain milestones aren't met. Or you can structure payments around results. So that could be pay per milestone or partial refunds if objectives aren't achieved. So these approaches reduce the perceived risks for the client, even if they never take advantage of them, and they would feel reassured that their investment is protected. So what practical steps can you take today to find out your optimum pricing? The first one, start with your ideal client in mind. Really unpick who you want to target and understand what they value the most. What outcomes are they seeking? What pain points are you helping them to resolve? And what is the cost to them of not having your involvement in solving that problem? Now, these are all key conversations to have right at the beginning and having a value-based conversation. So by focusing on the cost of inaction for your client, you can position your pricing as an investment rather than an expense. And if your service helps clients avoid costly mistakes or accelerates their path to that desired outcome, try to quantify this benefit in your discovery calls and use it to justify your pricing in proposals. Second one is to test pricing tiers. So do introduce a tiered pricing model like we showed in the example to appeal to different segments of your audience. We would always argue having some kind of gold, silver, bronze. So the bronze might be a streamlined offering at a lower price point. Your premium tier might be with more additional features like personalized support. And you might have a gold, which is maybe more aimed at organizations with bespoke pricing. So this approach allows you to capture a wider audience while providing natural upsell opportunities for those who want more comprehensive support and are willing to pay for it. You can then adjust interest in each and figure out how you target each market. Final tactic is to use pre-sales to test a client's willingness to pay. So launch a pre-sale or do a beta version of your service at an introductory price, typically to those that have already expressed interest in what you do through a mailing list. So this allows you to test the market's willingness to pay before you set a final price. And once you have that primed audience, you can go out to them with a much more confidence about what you're actually offering and the price that you're selling it at too. So a few final thoughts to wrap this up. Pricing is both an art and a science, and it's always difficult to get this right first time, or even feel that your price is ever, what it should be. It's about balancing certain things: the perception of your offering, the value it provides, attracting the right kind of client, and achieving your own business goals. So keep experimenting, find out where this balance is. Pricing doesn't have to be static. And remember that when done thoughtfully, pricing becomes more than a number. It becomes a reflection of the value that you bring to your clients.